Speeches, which will start in a moment, are from Jeremy Thorpe and Edward Heath for the motion.
On the eve of the only national referendum in British history came one of those bizarre rituals of British life, the obligatory debate at the Oxford Union.
The Union was crammed. And what was quite clear, even before we started the debate, was that the undergraduates were overwhelmingly in favour of staying in. It was the most pro-European meeting of the Oxford Union I've ever attended. Heath got a great cheer. And I had a clash with Jeremy Thorpe.
They lured us into the market with the mirage of the market.
I'm very grateful to the Right Honourable Lady. May we assume that if the vote is yes, she would not stay on to administer those policies as a minister.
So I had to think on my feet, and I said,
if the vote goes yes, my country will need me to save it.
And of course there were jeers, and Jeremy Thorpe did a sort of mock halo round his head, and the undergraduates all jeered and the rest of it. Of course, the trade unions are vital to the labour movement. It was the trade unions that created the labour movement. But you know, it cuts both ways.
On the 17th of January 1969, Barbara Castle published her vision for industrial harmony in Britain in place of strife. Senior cabinet ministers and backbenchers were now in open rebellion. Wilson and Castle were isolated. They had no alternative but to accept defeat and agree to a toothless compromise with the unions.
The deal with the unions was grandly announced as a solemn and binding undertaking. But without the force of law, it was completely pointless. The failure of In Place of Strife is one of the great lost opportunities of modern British politics. Had it worked, the story of the 70s and the 80s would have been entirely different. You wouldn't have needed to have Margaret Thatcher as conqueror of the unions, because Wilson and Castle would have done the job already.
It's 1975, and Lady Thatcher has just become the first woman to lead a major British party. Her triumph greatly impressed Barbara Castle, a senior Labour minister at the time. Here, in an extract read by an actor, Castle recalls her reaction to Thatcher's rise to power.
When the Tories lost the October election, their third defeat under Ted Heath, Tory backbenchers moved in on him. Heath was outraged that he should be challenged, and his anger cowed his obvious rivals into standing back. But the monetarists had got a stronger grip on Tory MPs than any of us realised. Most Labour people were surprised when they put up Margaret Thatcher as their candidate. We were even more surprised when she defeated Heath on the first ballot. I felt a sneaking feminine pleasure, I wrote in my diary. Damn it, that lass deserves to win. She had dared to put her head above the parapet, risking annihilation while the gentlemen of the party lay low. On the 11th of February 1975, she skated home on the second ballot with a majority of 70 votes over William Whitelaw, her nearest rival. I realised that we had on our hands a powerful political personality in Margaret Thatcher. I can't help feeling a thrill, I wrote in my diary. She is so clearly the best man among them. I have been saying for some time that this country is ready and more than ready for a woman Prime Minister. She had that combination men fear most. A brain as good as most of theirs, plus the mastery of the arts of femininity. On her victory, she appeared dewy-eyed before the cameras. She lends herself with grace and charm to every piece of photographer's gimmickry, I wrote. I had no doubt there was a rough politician beneath that demure exterior. I had no doubt either that the men would not be quite sure how to deal with her.
That was an extract from Fighting All the Way by Barbara Castle.